This week on Empowering Midlife Wellness, we're continuing our short episode celebrating Menopause Awareness Month, getting into some nuances about menopausal hormone therapy. This week, talking about progesterone. Do you need to take it if you've had a hysterectomy? Can you take it if you've had a hysterectomy? Let's find out. Hi friends, and welcome to this week's episode. If you're just joining me, I'm Dr. Susan. I'm a board-certified gynecologist and certified menopause practitioner dedicated to taking care of women in midlife. Women just like me who want to feel great now and also feel great as we get older because, of course, that starts right now. So October, we're celebrating Menopause Awareness Month all month. Last week, I talked about one of the questions about nuances regarding giving estrogen during perimenopause. So now we're very educated. We're getting into some nitty-gritty about menopausal hormone therapy. And this week I'm going to answer another nuanced question, this time about progesterone. And that question is in several forms. One of them I'll start with is, do I need to take progesterone if I've had a hysterectomy? Or can I still take progesterone if I've had a hysterectomy? Well, that's a great question, and let's back up about why that's even a question. Well, progesterone traditionally was only given in a menopausal hormone therapy situation to prevent uterine cancer. Because if we take estrogen by itself, we call that taking unopposed estrogen, the lining of the uterus, if we have one, is going to grow. And in rare cases, it can turn into what we call dysplasia, which is a precancerous condition, and then even into uterine cancer. Now, this is very rare, and it takes years of unopposed estrogen for this to happen. But because that does happen, it's always recommended, if you have a uterus, to take progesterone along with estradiol. Now, that's not the only reason to take progesterone, because progesterone has lots of other benefits. So yes, it prevents uterine cancer. And if you have a uterus and you're taking menopausal hormone therapy, including estradiol and progesterone, your risk of uterine cancer is lower than if you didn't take menopausal hormone therapy. So that's great. Now, you also might notice some other benefits if you take progesterone, including, maybe most importantly, it really helps us sleep. So because menopause and perimenopause is such a frequent time of sleep disruption, the sleep benefit is massive for many of us. It also helps many people with moods. You know, when we were younger, when our progesterone dropped, that was the week before our cycle, many people think that that is at least largely responsible for what we consider to be PMS or even PMDD. Premenstrual dysphoric disorder is no joke. It's really miserable. So if we have no progesterone, many of us have anxiety, depression, mood swings, PMS, PMDD type symptoms. So taking progesterone can help with that too. It also helps with hair, skin, and nails. You know, when we're pregnant and people say, wow, your hair is glowing and your nails grow so quickly, largely because of progesterone. So yes, progesterone prevents uterine cancer. Absolutely, if you have a uterus, you need to take it. Now, the question, remember, was, do you need to take it if you have had a hysterectomy? Now, let's say you've had your uterus removed. That's what a hysterectomy is called, plus or minus the ovaries. That's a different conversation. You don't need to take progesterone to prevent uterine cancer because you can't get uterine cancer, right? But you might want to take progesterone for all those other benefits that I mentioned, because you've had a hysterectomy, you might still have sleep disruption, changes in your hair, skin, nails, mood, right? So many or most of my patients, even if they've had a hysterectomy and they do not need uterine cancer protection, choose to take progesterone because they get other benefits. And then, this happens sometimes, they'll go see their primary care doctor, no judgment, or somebody who doesn't know as much as you do about menopause, and their doctor will say, why are you taking progesterone? You don't need that. You've had a hysterectomy. And yes, they're kind of right, because you don't need it for uterine cancer prevention. So we can help to educate our doctors and our friends that absolutely we don't need uterine cancer prevention when we've had a hysterectomy, but progesterone has a whole bunch of other potential benefits. So yes, you can take it if you want to. All right, now there is a small subset, and a very small one in my practice, of patients who don't like progesterone. Here's a comment, and it doesn't resonate with me as someone who has insomnia, but it can make you too sleepy. Some patients have other side effects from taking progesterone at night. Now, if you had a hysterectomy, sure, you can stop it if you want to. If you have not had a hysterectomy, if you have a uterus and you don't like taking progesterone at night because you're in that rare group that it doesn't make you feel great, the way it makes me feel great, and most of my patients agree, we need to get the progesterone in your system some other way to prevent uterine cancer. And so a really common way to do that is with an IUD, intrauterine device, typically used for birth control. Now, that's not bioidentical progesterone, it's a synthetic progestin, but doesn't matter, it's a great idea. If you put an IUD in, for example, a Mirena, Kyleena, there's other brands, then you have progesterone being delivered directly into the uterus, prevents uterine cancer, and you don't have to take that pill at night that some patients don't like. I will tell you, most patients love it. So we don't, in malpractice, use a lot of IUDs for that reason, but there's always an exception. So, long story short, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty nuances of menopausal hormone therapy. Yes, you can take progesterone even if you've had a hysterectomy, and you might want to because it's got lots of other wonderful benefits. However, if you don't like it, you can stop it. And patients who've had a hysterectomy can take estradiol only. Because of that reason, they cannot get uterine cancer. So now you know much, much, much more about menopausal hormone therapy than most doctors. Spread the word. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please share it with your friends, and I can't wait to see you next week.